What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father. It's at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below, as usual. This one's entitled What Do Single Mothers Teach Their Kids? And we just got to talk about it. You know, a lot of times we talk about single mother households, and like I said before, the issue is not necessarily for me right now. The issue is not the women's bad decisions, is what the women pass on and don't pass on to their children as they grow to be an adult. And we're gonna go with boys and the girls, right? So I'm going in alphabetical order. B comes before G. So what do they teach their sons? Because a lot of times I can tell somebody was raised by a single mother, because a lot of the boys raised by single mothers right now, they're taught fashion. They want to be fly. They want to be look good. They're in season. Olive is the new color. They're wearing olive. They're very metrosexual, very effeminate, um, very ephemeral. Like they act like girls. They approach us like girls. They want attention like girls. This is what they were taught, to be attention whores. You know, just they just doing it, but just in a pseudo masculine way, right? You know, but then you ask these guys what is their actual skill set? Depends on the men that were in their lives. If they had men who actually worked with their hands, they got a skill set with their hands. If you have if they were piecing together men that came in and out of mom's house, they may have a few jack of all trades. Some may be good, some may be bad. But what these mothers teach these boys, you know, a lot of the guys I see who are taught by single mothers tend to be dusty. They go through a dusty phase because they don't realize that they weren't taken care of. They were taught to, how can I say, procrastinate and evade responsibility. These same guys that these women complain about, who they said don't take care of their kids, or don't, or want to go Dutch all the time, or trying to talk their way in and out of everything, and they being real petty, and basically he act like a bitch. Well, he was raised by a bitch. She taught him how to be a bitch. She taught him the same tactics that your mother taught you to get over on men. She was taught how those tactics to make sure you don't get over on him, and to get over on you at the same time. So that's that he was taught. You know, some of these guys are taught that they would be bailed out of adversity. Some of these guys can never have a masculine rite of passage, because they're looking for a hero. They're looking for a Captain Saver Jody, because their mama taught them that somebody else was going to come along and fix it. So instead of them being the man who's actually the hero, they're just a masculine version of Lois Lane, waiting on, letting it get so bad that somebody got to swoop in and save them too. And without understanding that you're a guy, nobody's trying to save you. You just need to save yourself. You know, what 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 has these single mother taught these guys? What have these single mothers taught their sons? They've taught their sons to marginalize and disrespect other men. You don't have to respect your father. You don't necessarily have to respect, their father, which may be the grandfather, their uncles, which your uncles, which may be their brothers, and your cousins, and all that other stuff. You were taught that if dad's not to be respected, and dad can be shut out, and dad could be manipulated or played or set up, then why can't anybody else that's a guy? So you take this mentality out into the world and you don't realize, this is part of the reason why guys are blowing up at other guys, because guys are really habitual line steppers with other guys because they were taught to be scam artists and disrespectful and habitual line steppers with other men or males. You know, what else were they taught? These guys were taught to be the guy that mom regretted not being with. You know, some of you guys, were taught to be extra, uber gentlemen because the guy that your mother didn't really date and she didn't really like at the time, she wished he was in her life when you were a kid and you was living with her. So now the guy that she's in a relationship with is screwing, you looking at him like, well, that's the type of guy's mama like, and that's true. But she's teaching you to be the kind of guy that mama regrets not liking, which, like people say all the time, it's not gonna help because she's gonna teach you to be something that all the girls in your area are not attracted to because their mothers are just like your mother. They're hypocritical with the guy that they're with and the guy that they should have chose. So, the actions is louder than the words in the theory. Now, I'm going to the girls. What are these single mothers teaching these girls? Because when you when you start dating and you start seeing how much these women are missing, lacking, um, confused about, it comes to you start realizing how they were raised. You know, they teach these girls that they can do whatever, that they have no consequences. So they could say whatever, they could do whatever. And because you're teaching these girls that they don't have consequences for their actions, while in some ways simultaneously teaching these young girls that guys are just stupid. Like guys not gonna see your bullshit coming a mile away. And and when you've taught these two type tactics and the things that, you know, women can get away with that men can't get away with, you wind up with this. These women are taught this wild opportunism because if the guy's too smart and they see it up front, they just not deal with him and evade him because he's not able to be manipulated, not just controlled. You can't even manipulate him. He can see that coming. So you evade that guy. You can do whatever you want to, with the guy that is like on the fence because you feel you could use sex as a weapon or manipulation through emotion as a weapon, and you were taught to play that game. And when the blow-ups happen, at last resort, you got other male family members who will hurt the person, or a guy to come to your rescue that doesn't know what's going on, or like I said, last resort, you can get the police to arrest them. This is what these women are being taught, just from what I've seen. They're taught not to take care of their man. That's why you deal with women who weren't even taught to cook for themselves. They don't cook for themselves. A lot of them don't clean up after themselves. A lot of them don't have any type of manners because they were taught the same disrespect to their father, so they have the same disrespect of men also. So they don't know if a guy if a guy invites you over to his house and if he's got food, you should be able to clean the dishes. But they don't even know that mannerism. You get what I'm saying? They don't know if he opens the car door for you, try to just unlock the door or reach to unlock the door for him. Those small things. You don't know, if the guy keeps taking you out and he's paying for these dinners, you should cover the tip or something. You weren't taught the reciprocal relationship between men and women. You were taught the you were entitled to take, and that was it, without any recourse. And if anybody questions um, you in your selfishness, all you have to do is get rid of them and get a new guy. Which a lot of y'all realize y'all started running out of guys this way because too many guys got tired of getting played. Also, you weren't taught how to take care of yourselves. Notice, a lot of you, a lot of y'all, a lot of you ladies don't know how to be feminine because you weren't taught how to be feminine. That's why I'm asking, what are these single mothers teaching their kids? Because these women are unprepared at all. I know grown women who still have a hard time in heels, who still don't know how to take care of their own hair and face, who still don't know how to eat good, and who still don't know home remedies or quote unquote beauty secrets they weren't taught. You know, now let's I'm gonna jump back and forth while I end this one. With the boys were taught you got to go out and make money and take care of a woman. So, these boys are being taught to put themselves second and third. They don't. They're not supposed to. They were taught to be a woman's utility, and they have to grow out of that as an adult. These women are taught to be able to be harlots and manipulate their sex to get guys' resources, which after a while it doesn't end well for them. Um, the boys are taught that um, you need to do something to save the family. So before they can even save themselves, they're taught an obligation to save people who didn't try to save themselves. The girls are taught to get an education so you don't need a man or you just get an education, but they're not taught about the debt that ensues and how to manage that into not put yourself in a big hole trying to get an education, because an education is one thing, but the debt from an education is a completely different story. Um, he's got, they're not teaching budgeting, financing, saving. They're teaching the way you save is by using people and manipulating people to get them to pay for stuff, and you keep pocket the money. And they're teaching to be consumers with that money you pocket. So at the end of the day, you know, they're not teaching any type of really skills that can make a person actually take care of themselves and be self-sufficient, and self-sufficient enough to be able to take care of a family once they begin to try to have one. So that's just my opinion on on why I'm saying what are these single mothers teaching their kids, because at the end of the day you find a lot of people who are adults now who are unprepared for life because they weren't taught the actual things that you need to know and be able to do to have a successful life or to be able to progress in life. Yeah.